After I became a stepdad, I knew I would need a lot of help. I found this book from Beacon Press called Fathering Daughters, Reflections by Men. The editors collected essays and stories from other fathers to share. In the introduction, they explained they had been friends since meeting in Cambridge, Mass. In the 1970s. The words Cambridge and Harvard Square and Beacon Press always get my attention, as they are a sign of Unitarian Universalism. I have visited all three of them in the Boston area. DeWitt Henry and James Allen McPherson write, "To prepare for our tasks as editors, we visited bookstores in Harvard Square. We found vast women's study sections in each bookstore and a conspicuous absence of men's studies. Here we were, two grumpy old men, clearly middle-aged, one African American, one WASP, browsing the feminist shelves in evident astonishment. A virtual industry of ideology was in place, and where were we as fathers in this call for change? In volume after volume, fathers were identified as embodiments of patriarchy and were portrayed as abusive, tyrannical, overpowering, predatory, absent, distant, shadowy, irresponsible, and victims themselves of traditions that denied women full human potential. According to many daughters, fathers were at the heart of their unhappiness as women. In the essays here, say the author's editors, for what feels to us like the first time, fathers themselves are expressing the perplexities of parenting daughters during these decades of questioning, polarization, and social change. In our invitation for essays, we asked fathers to write about their love for and their responsibilities to their daughters, about their perspectives on culture, about the future, and about the impact of feminist criticism on their hearts and minds. And so I have chosen today to share two stories of fatherhood. One is taken from this book, and one is from the UUA website on Words for Worship. If we have time remaining, I invite your stories and responses. The first essay is titled Prayers for My Daughter. Howard Junker's daughter, Madison, was at this writing a fifth grader who runs cross country and plays power forward for her school basketball team. About men, I want my daughter to understand that there are some of goodwill, though I agree with her current view that all boys under 65 are immature. The main craft that I can teach Madison is carpentry, although I am embarrassingly unskilled. So far, my skills have managed to measure up to Madison's requirements, although my days are surely numbered. Her latest project, a chest, terrified me because I had no idea how we might build working drawers. What she really wanted, it turned out, was a clothes closet for Felicity, her Williamsburg-era American Girl doll. Some of you may know. The series that is her generation's politically and historically correct Barbie. In a drawing, she presented something that looked more like an armoire, something I thought we could handle. 2 doors and she insisted on 2 clothes rods. I brought her out to where we store a bunch of empty cardboard boxes. Measure this, I suggested. But I wanted it wood. Try it, I insisted, knowing it would be easy to cut doors in a cardboard box. She graciously allowed that a box would do. Under pressure, she is amazingly willing to believe in my transformative powers. The best part was cutting up an old broom handle for the rods. I set up my miter box, which holds the saw in 2 slots for an accurate cut, and I let her saw away. It was the first time she was actually able to saw by herself. It was slow and frustrating, but she kept at it. My father, who in his day was a high school shop teacher, he had let me use a hatchet when I was 4, smiled down upon us. She danced with joy when we finished. Now, my best friend is Madison's godmother. Last spring, she gave Madison a swing that her own kids had outgrown. It worked well. All the neighbor kids loved it too. One day after school, a classmate was swinging when her mother came to pick her up. She was swinging one last swing when Madison got in the way and was knocked down. Her head bounced off the concrete driveway. I saw it. She got up. She had not lost consciousness. She was crying, her head ached, and she was dizzy. We tried ice and rest, but it was the weekend, her pediatrician was out of reach, and we were afraid to wait and see, so we brought her in, first to the nurse, and then, because she had vomited in the car, to the emergency room. The MRI showed no damage. I pray that she will always be able to bounce back from disaster, although I would prefer that she be absolutely, eternally invincible. I also pray with almost equal fervor that whatever forms of outrage her generation devises to torment and sadden their parents, it will not be tattoos and piercings. I am hoping that teenagers of the next millennium will adopt some really fiendish retroactive tactic, such as dressing like neo preppies. I will thereby be on familiar ground and capable, I hope, of staying in touch with my daughter forever. The next short story is Our Great Calling by Nathan Ryan. Reverend Ryan was called in 2020 as the senior minister of the Unitarian Church of Baton Rouge. A Louisiana native, Nathan makes a mean red beans and rice and believes that good food goes a long way toward world peace. His essay begins with a quote from Carl Sagan. "The cosmos is within us. We are made of star stuff. We are a way for the universe to know itself." End quote. He wrote, I still feel stifled trying to talk about my children. Everything I can think to say about them is about how great, amazing, or wonderful they are. But then I stop myself because I know that literally every person ever born was born that perfect and amazing. Also, I'm still not fully reconciled on the decision to have them. We made a decision to create these 2 people knowing that living is painful. If everything goes the way we want it to, they will love us, and then they will bury us. That's the best case scenario. Sadly, we know that many parents weren't given that option. What does it mean that we still decided to bring them into a world that is violent, xenophobic, racist, hateful, polluted, dangerous, and imperfect? I think we have a holy obligation to bring about paradise on this earth, and each generation helps us do that. Just as every one of us I've enlisted them without their consent in this work, just as every one of us was enlisted in this work without our consent. I wanted to give them the gift of being alive. I wanted another person to experience the sheer joy, complications, and beauty of this wonderful, imperfect earth and all of its people. So now, the challenge. Can you make the world that should have been when my children were born? For some reason, that's an easier challenge to articulate than the real one. Make the world that you and I should have had before we were born. You are born of the most divine particles. Make the world better because you exist. Go find the person you disagree with the most or who bothers you the most, and go love the hell out of them. Go have a conversation. Bake a loaf of bread for them. Love them as you love yourself. And if you don't love yourself, well, love yourself. If these past few years haven't shown us this is our great calling, I can't imagine what would. Reverend Nathan closes also with this prayer. God and that uniting spirit within us all, please help us know we are not alone. Help us know that this work will be hard and heartbreaking for some of us. Please help us know that we are worthy of love and justice. Make us into beacons of hope and justice. Help us to build the world we were promised before we were born. Amen.